What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. These two are already getting it started with their lovely pleasantries. But I am happy to see you all. Stephen A. Smith, Marcus Spears. What's the face for already?
Well, let me say this. First of all, it's good to be here. But let me start off the show by saying this. A lot of people out there have been wondering what's going on. I have no idea why, because there certainly have been enough headlines about it. But here's the bottom line. It's a new day here at First Take. Molly and I are still here. Obviously, there's going to be a rotation of a lot of people. Max Kellerman is no longer here. He's with Keyshawn and Jay Williams in the morning on radio. Nothing but the best of luck to him. But sitting across from me, Michael Irvin's going to be on Mondays. You're going to see Marcus Spears every week. You're going to see Keyshawn Johnson every week. You're going to see Tim Tebow every Friday, and a host of contributors that have always contributed to this show. Make no mistake about it, the Paul Feinbaums, the Mina Combs, the Kimberly Martins, the Ted Brewskis, the Jeff Saturdays, the Dan Orlovskis of the world. The list goes on and on. Of course, let me not forget my brother Ryan Clark, along with Dominique Foxworth as well. They'll all be contributing to the show. But also in the world of sports and entertainment, on many, many occasions, there have been many people that have said they wanted a piece of me to sit across from that chair. And the chair is open. Not just the folks in sports, meaning the athletes, the coaches, etc. Not just the world of entertainment who think they might know something about the sports, but I might even entertain bringing a couple of fans up in here. It depends on who they are. I don't run from anybody. So I just want to let you know. I just want to let the world know that's what this show is moving forward. And victim number one yesterday was Michael Irvin. Victim number two is this brother right here.
He's got 2 hours of a warm-up.
Let's go.
You're alive.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go. Enough. Let's start it.
Let's go.
2 days out, y'all, from the start of the NFL season, and we kick it off with a blockbuster matchup. Tom Brady and the defending Super Bowl champs hosting Dak Prescott and the Cowboys in Tampa. Dak returning from an ankle and shoulder. He's not seen game action in 340 days. He will be without some of his best protection, potentially. Ezekiel Elliott called Zach Martin the best offensive player on the Cowboys. Michael Irvin called him the best guard in the league. As of now, he'll be out due to COVID protocols. But Jerry Jones was on First Take yesterday, Stephen A., and he did give us a glimmer of hope.
I'm still the guy that want him. He's going to be testing right up until game time, and maybe we can get a couple of negative tests out of him. If he can get 2 negatives over the next couple of days, then he could play. Don't hold out for that. So, I'm always looking for that pony in there somewhere. He's arguably the best player. Best of what? The best player. And you go in a game against the world champions and not have your best man there. That's a setback.
All right. A lot of fun having Jerry on the show yesterday. Irv also said yesterday that the Cowboys are legit Super Bowl threats. Now, I know, Marcus, even though you don the uniform too, you are much more objective than one Michael Irvin. So tell me this, are they legitimate threats?
No, Irv was lying. And here's the deal, too, with Jerry calling in, billionaires have a different reality. So for him, Zach Martin can play in his mind, but right now it doesn't look like that way. And the reason I say no, Molly, is because as we sit here today, what evidence do we have to prove that the Cowboys are going to be legit Super Bowl contenders? We got a defense that's being revamped, trying to figure out who they are identity-wise. We got Zach Martin, arguably the best guard in football outside of Quentin Nelson out, and that's just 1 week. But when you look at a team, like, they still forming. Everybody acts like last year was a normal situation. This is an anomaly. Mike McCarthy's legitimate first year to try to show his worth in Dallas is this year, with Dak Prescott being healthy, hopefully for the entirety of the season. But see, this is what people get misconstrued when me and SA go back and forth about the Cowboys. I'm not oblivious to the issues we have. I'm just always flabbergasted at the layups that you take. But when your teams come into question, it's always something excuses made. And see, you like to put that on me. You like to put that on me. You like people to believe that I'm a Cowboys apologist. I make real, pointed, very normal talks about the Cowboys. I make real normal statements about the Cowboys. You haven't heard me on this set say the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. I was asked a couple years ago if I thought they would win in a 3-year span. No, I don't. But what I do believe is going to happen is that they're going to be a hell of a better football team than people are expecting. And Zeke Elliott is going to have a lot to do with how the Cowboys are perceived going forward. And defensively, Dan Quinn will have them in a situation where they understand what they're doing. If you look at the Dallas Cowboys last year, and as this guy likes to point out how bad they were, but exclude everything that happened.
Okay.
All right. This was an offensive line that started games with a total of 3 games experience.
Right.
This was a running back that had fumbleitis, who wasn't in running behind an offensive line that could move people out the way. It was a fracture in the best player on your team and Dak Prescott, the most important player on your team, ankle. It was a lot of things that went wrong. There's normalcy this year.
Okay.
It was an off season this year. So even though I don't have them in the Super Bowl, I'm not going to listen to your dribble about the Cowboys being bad. They're not going to be bad.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, when you're doing this show, particularly when you're sitting across from me, keep in mind the clock, because that long, lengthy soliloquy you just went on, it's an effort to try to take time away from the way I'm about to school you. It ain't going to work. That's number one. Number two, lesson number 2, leave my arguments to me. Don't try to make it for me. Don't try to speak for me. I'm sitting right across from you. Give me an opportunity. Give me not all of them. Not all of them. Some of them don't need to. Some of the great ones don't need to. That's a lie. That's number 2. Number 3, let's get to the point. You should be ashamed of yourself.
For what?
It's a pathetic take. Here's the bottom line. When you look at the Dallas Cowboys, you just conceded, all right, that, they're going to be a hell of a lot better than we expect them to. Well, considering the fact that they're in the NFC least, that's an automatic bid to the playoff based on that. So as a result, now you're talking about needing to win 2 or 3 games. This is an offense that without Dak Prescott for 11 games last year, still scored 5,949 points. This is an offense that still has Ezekiel Elliott, despite the 6 fumbles, 5 lost. He still averaged 4 yards a carry. That was considered a down year. Ezekiel Elliott could possibly make a comeback this year. And by the way, it ain't that big of a comeback because he's still better than most. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, supposedly the best receiver in the game, according to him. They're in the lineup, and Dak Prescott is coming back. When you combine all of that, okay, the bottom line is the Dallas Cowboys should be perceived as a contender. Now, their defense was horrid, but you just brought up Dan Quinn. Suddenly, you notice how Dan Quinn has become relevant? I mean, we didn't think about it for the last few years. He was the head coach in Atlanta. Nobody was thinking about him since they lost a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. Now, all of a sudden, anytime somebody talks about the Dallas Cowboys, Dan Quinn.
Well, he's back to being a DC. We saw what he did with the Legion of Boom.
Allow me to interject. I am not knocking Dan Quinn because I know what an elite defensive coordinator that he was, and I know that he knows what he's doing. All I'm saying is that it's amazing to me how suddenly he's become relevant. And the way I look at it is this. If Micah Parsons is in the lineup, which he will be, if Leighton Vander Esch is going to be back, all right? DeMarcus Lawrence is supposed to be up in the building, okay? He's going to be there. He's got some making up to do. He's only had 14.5 sacks, if I remember correctly, over the last 2 years, okay? After having 17 a couple of years before that. In the end, what it comes down to is this. The Dallas Cowboys, based on their division and their offensive talent, should automatically put them in position to be one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the NFC conference.
You should stop lying.
Ain't that true?
You should stop lying.
Ain't that true?
And this is what I want to happen. Dallas Cowboys fans, the last 3 minutes of Stephen A. talking, don't buy that fool's gold. He trying to set people up. That's what you're doing.
I disagree.
In what world are you going to make an argument about the Cowboys being legit Super Bowl contenders? And then when we get to Christmas, you're going to laugh about where they at in the standings.
Because they're allergic to prosperity.
No, I don't want to hear what you're talking about no more. Because you're trying to play people's minds. This is what I talk about, Molly, with Stephen A. when it comes to the Cowboys. It's always an angle. Like we sit here, we 2 days away from the first game being played, and he all year long during football season, Stephen A. Smith is gonna laugh at the Cowboys. He gonna relish in losses. He gonna enjoy the fact that they not having success.
Hold on.
He gonna enjoy
it's his agenda.
He gonna enjoy
exactly.
He gonna enjoy a 4 or 5 game winning streak.
Hold on.
And then the 6th game when they lose, he gonna say, "I knew it was coming." That's your little thing. But I'm not gonna allow.
I gotta tell you this. You sound like my buddy Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I'm not gonna allow you to do that.
Hold on. That's exactly what my buddy Jerry Jones. That's exactly what my buddy Jerry Jones came on the show and said. He called me a sly fox. I understand. But here's the bottom line, buddy.
But I'm here not to allow it.
Here's the bottom line, buddy. You can deny it all you want to, but the fact of the matter is, when you look at that NFC conference, you got the Green Bay Packers, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you got the Los Angeles Rams, you got the Seattle Seahawks, and likely the San Francisco 49ers.
Tennessee Titans.
Hold on, no. I'm talking about in the NFC.
Oh, yeah.
There's not another team in the NFC that you can definitively say is better than those Cowboys. That's the reality of the situation. You don't know. And because you don't know, that puts them in contender status. That's what it is, that's what I'm saying.
If they buy this at home, I'm through. I'm through with everybody if they buy what you're talking about.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Vegas gives Cowboys the 13th best odds to win the Super Bowl.
It don't matter because Stephen A. he want to do that. He want to get. Oh, did you see this? What's gonna happen? Oh, did you hear Stephen A. today talking about the Cowboys and how they could be contenders and how many teams? It's a setup, y'all.
I feel sorry for those.
It's a setup.
All right,
I'm gonna keep it real.
To Tom Brady.
You terrible.
Division that he dominated for decades, but that's not the case. But he's ready, y'all. Stephen A. Smith, who is going to win the AFC East?
All seriousness, y'all, I think it's going to be the New England Patriots. I've been thinking about this. I think it's going to be the New England Patriots. I want to remind you, I was always high on Mac Jones. Going down to Carolina, Alabama, and Nick Saban, sent me down there to tilt the team.
Here we go. Was it the greatest speech of all time that they ever had?
I have never said that, and I would never say that about myself. Contrary to popular belief, I do leave it to others to toot.
It is absolute fact that he thinks that speech is why they won.
No. That's Paul Feinbaum. That's Paul Feinbaum.
You and Tom Brady are best.
That's Paul Feinbaum. That's not me.
You.
That's not me. But here's the deal. They did say it was the greatest speech, but that's a different subject for another day.
You.
They did say it. I mean, you just ask them. You know what I'm saying? You should invite me down to talk to them kids. I'm trying to tell you, I'm a motivator, baby. I'm a motivator. Here's the deal, Marcus. Mac Jones, system quarterback, just a whole look. I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady. He's a rookie. I'm not engaging in that level of blasphemy. But I think about some of the adds that New England has added to their squad, okay? And then I think about the 8 to 9 dudes that returned on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. And then I think about how potent I anticipate their running game being. And then I get to the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, and somehow, some way, I just look at this as being a situation where you might split during the regular season or whatever, but you got a chance to win a division. You win a division, then you're talking about 2 or 3 games with Bill Belichick coaching and Josh McDaniel running that offense. I understand that Buffalo with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs and the crew and the job that Sean McDermott is doing in Buffalo. Yeah. I get all that. I'm not sold on Miami because to me, they don't even know who their quarterback is. Right. I don't care what I love Brian Flores, but I don't care what he says about Tua Tagovailoa. He's not sold on that yet. This dude is in his second year, and even though I got a lot of hope for that brother because I loved what he did when he was in college, at the end of the day, he's got to show us. It really comes down to Buffalo and New England in that division. And when I think about you having a quarterback who can make the right throws, because on the record, I've always been about that. I love Cam as an athlete. I've never been a fan of his as a passer. Right. You got to be able to pass the football when you are the successor to Tom Brady. And in Mac Jones' case, all he can do is pass because he ain't a runner. So when I look at it, I'm saying, I can't sleep on New England. They got a lot of the veterans returning. Nelson Aguilar and a few others, they picked up some pieces in the offseason. I think people are sleeping on the New England Patriots. Yeah. And that's where I'm at with it.
People are not sleeping on them. You just spent 3 minutes trying to convince your damn self. It's the Buffalo Bills. And it's because we saw them. We absolutely know what they are. We know Josh Allen. We know Josh Allen is an elite talent based on last year. He just damn near got $200 million to play quarterback.
Actually, it was $258.
Yeah, we know Stephon Diggs is an elite receiver.
Yes.
And this is where I got caught up last year with the Buffalo Bills. Didn't pay enough attention to what they did defensively. And look, I'm with you. I understand the amount of money that was spent, the identity in which Bill Belichick rebuilt this New England Patriots football team. But the Buffalo Bills are already ahead of schedule. They are already in the know about who they are as a football team. When I think about Mac Jones, and look, I'm with you. I'm happy about Mac Jones. He ended up in the right situation. I think he's a good football player. But Mac Jones ain't played Tre'Davious White yet. He ain't played Jordan Poyer yet. Micah Hyde wasn't the safety when he was throwing passes in the preseason. So I'm looking at Sean McDermott, and this is why I've been back and forth on this thought process because I give a lot of credence to Bill Belichick. Sean McDermott does the same damn thing. This is how the Buffalo Bills are built. and they wanted to address their run game and make things happen in that regard. So the bottom line is, I get all of the sensationalism of Mac Jones, and I'm even one that said he needs to end up here and not in San Francisco. The Buffalo Bills are the best team in the
Well, listen,
and I don't have to convince myself.
Well, listen, well, let me say this to you. That's fair. I'm not going to even refute that. But I would remind you, you don't have to convince yourself of it because of what you saw last year.
Right.
Fair enough. What we must take into consideration, in my opinion, and this is why it took some convincing, meaning internally, me amongst myself, because I'm looking at Buffalo and I'm like, I like this, but I remember come playoff time, all I had to rely on was Stephon Diggs if I'm Josh Allen. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, last year COVID, last year Cam Newton, last year 8, 9 different dudes refusing to show up because of COVID. That's not the case this year. Your defense sparked and led by Dante Hightower is back and throw. The defense is expected to be not good, but elite.
Yeah.
We understand that. So, okay, now we get that out the way. We got an elite defense. We got Bill Belichick coaching. And then even though I just traded Sony Michel, I'm not letting go of him if I'm not comfortable with what I got at the running back spot. Who do I have now? I got Damian Harris, okay? I'm looking at that guy. James White is still there, okay? I picked up Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby, not Jacoby and Myers, the law firm, but Jacoby Myers, the receiver. I got to be convinced about him. I get all of that. Hunter Henry, you picked him up, all right? He's a free agent. Who do you got at the tight end spot? Janu Smith out of Tennessee.
Yep.
He's a free agent. I'm just looking at how this team is constructed. And then I'm looking at a guy like Mac Jones, and I'm thinking about the things that they're saying about him and all the requisite throws, the requisite reads, going through your progressions, et cetera, and how Bill Belichick coaches, particularly against divisional foes. Sean McDermott and Buffalo are to be the favorites. They're to be reckoned with. But something is telling me, you know what? We wrote New England off a bit prematurely. We looked at them last year, and we said, okay, Tom Brady's gone. That era is over. You might be right as it pertains to Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But as it pertains to the division crown, I'm not so sure. So I got to see more than 1 year from Josh. More than 1 year from Josh Allen.
And this is also Bill Belichick with a huge boulder on his shoulder after he saw what Tom Brady did. He never spends the most in guaranteed money.
Yeah. No doubt. And that's given a lot of people pause. But what we failed, this is the realization I had to come to.
Okay.
What we failed to realize is that everybody in this division was trying to build themselves in the image to beat the Patriots.
Okay.
So this is not just as normal as we made $150 million worth of commitments to get our team better. We all talked about the devoid of talent. We all talked about what they didn't have.
Yeah.
Not defensively.
Yeah, that too, because we talked about the opt-outs. We knew that they were heavily affected.
I thought you were talking about before the opt-out.
Yeah, we knew they were heavily affected by not having personnel.
Okay.
The issue becomes is that when you've been Bill Belichick and you've dominated this conference for so long, the teams in this conference are built in the same vein.
But let me throw
it's not as easy anymore.
Let me throw a question. Because you played identity. Let me throw a question at you here. If you were the Patriots, meaning you Marcus, you played for the Patriots, right? And last year take place, but you sat out, and 9 of your crew members, 8 of your crew members sat out with you. Is it the attitude that you sit back? Man, these people think they done did something. You know,
Absolutely.
because they ain't playing against us.
Yes.
They playing against. They play. And I don't mean it. I certainly don't mean this disrespectfully, but it's just to use the analogy, it's almost like you were playing against scabs.
Yeah.
Because cats that showed up were, they weren't. They were not your crew. And so as a result of that, I'm looking at the New England Patriots, and I'm saying this is a team that's like, y'all think we lost yesterday?
Yeah, y'all
we weren't there. You see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but Drake just dropped an album called Certified Lover Boy. It's a song on there called Pipe Down.
Right.
And the reason why you pipe down is because, look, I'm excited about what the hell Mac Jones has done. We understood that this was a great situation. There's still a rookie quarterback. Right. The most important, and I get it, he's going to take care of the football. It's a different animal. Just like you saying, for the New England Patriots, those guys sitting out and coming back like we weren't there, it's the same type of energy from other teams saying, okay, they got a quarterback. They took him 15. They still got to deal with us, and we got a better quarterback. So this is not when Bill Belichick was building rosters, the constant was, I have Tom Brady. And you sat on this show and they're fine. Right. They got 12.
Yeah.
They're fine. That's no longer the case.
But what I'm saying to you is this, Marcus. we're not debating this point because I'm deferring to you.
Right.
I'm deferring to your expertise as a former NFL player. Josh Allen was sensational last year. Got paid for it. Year before that, he completed 11% less of his passes. What I'm trying to say is this. If my crew is out last year, and on top of it all, I got a year of film to study on you because that's what you did. What I know what I'm going to see. I know what I'm going to see. You don't know what you're going to see.
We got to wrap it up.
But the job not harder than Mac Jones.
Okay.
I just want to say one thing. This conversation kind of became a two-horse race, right, between the Bills and the Pats. But Miami does go to Foxborough week 1, so that's going to be fun. Tua versus Mac. We'll learn a lot more about this division. Obviously, there's some rust week 1, but looking forward to that for sure. Guys, 3 teams all have a real shot for the same thing, but which of them has the best chance to win the AFC North? We're talking Stephen A. Steelers, Browns, and Ravens. Who are the favorites to win the AFC North?
Cleveland, this is for you. You like basketball. You like that reference. Listen, this team asserted themselves in the AFC North. Like, let's not disregard what they did last year, and let's not disregard how they're built as a football team. Arguably the best offensive line in football. OBJ back healthy. A defense that's way improved with bringing over Johnson and Troy Hill from the Los Angeles Rams. I'm not just talking about player talent, though. I'm talking about coaching. And that's something we talked about with Freddie Kitchens. It's something we talked about how this franchise was in death, trying to figure out what direction they wanted to go. The general manager, Andrew Berry, has settled things down in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield is insulated. I don't think Baker Mayfield is going to ascend to a league MVP. I think he's going to be a really high-level quarterback if they continue to manufacture offense like they do. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, go through all of the names. But this division that I played in, by the way, before you start your dribble, is built at the line of scrimmage. And the Cleveland Browns right now are further along than everybody else in that division when you start looking at up front. The addition of Jadeveon Clowney, arguably the best defensive end in football, in Myles Garrett. There were some that contest that. But the Cleveland Browns are well suited. And more so because of Stefanski, the philosophy, and the way that they're built. Now, go and tell me why the damn Pittsburgh Steelers are the king of the
Well, first of all, don't be sitting there trying to ruin it. I had the audience in suspense. Don't be trying to mess up my argument. That's number one. Number 2, got news for you. I haven't always been a fan of Cleveland. This is for you because of that stimulus package the league threw to Cleveland when they suspended Draymond Green and then messed up the whole finals after Golden State went up 3-1. So don't get me started with that because that's a different subject for another day. Now, I do love the fact that you brought up Andrew Berry because the bottom line is African-American being the GM. Yes. I appreciate that. The job that he's doing, the NFL team should look at more brothers and give them those opportunities. Absolutely. And Kevin Stefanski has proven himself to be a damn good coach. No shade there, but here's the reality of the situation. Who is the reigning division champions? That would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. When I think about Big Ben Roethlisberger, what was the mistake that was being made? 608 passes last year, through fresh off of elbow surgery. That needed to be in the 4 to 450 range, but you couldn't do it. Why? Because you had the worst running game in all of football. Not that James Conner's the worst, because he certainly wasn't. He's a decent back, but he ain't what they needed. He wasn't that dude. He was no Le'Veon Bell from years ago. But you know who might be? The brother Najee Harris. Where's he from? Alabama. That's where he's from. The bottom line is this. You got Najee Harris in the backfield, so you ain't got to throw the football 600 times. And the 400 plus times, Big Ben will undoubtedly throw the football. Who does he have available to them? Juju Smith-Schuster had a chance to go to Kansas City. He decided to go back to Pittsburgh. Chase Claypool, the brother's bad. He's something special. He's going to be in the house. Deontay Johnson's going to be there. James Washington, I know he wants to leave, but why does he want to leave? Because there's so many damn good receivers ahead of him. True. He ain't happy with the playing time and all of that stuff. But he'll find his way. Eric Ebron is no joke either at that tight end spot. Now, the offensive line, do I have concerns? Sure, I have concerns. A bunch of no names. You got to put them together. It's a whole new thing that you're revamping. New offensive coordinator. I thought Fichtner was a bit predictable. Matt Canada, I don't expect him to be that dude. As a result of that, with Tomlin, we know Kevin Stefanski could coach. What do we know about Tomlin? We know that brother can coach too. So, and then I didn't even bring up the Steelers defense. I'm sorry. Did I mention TJ Watt 15 sacks? Did I mention Stephon Tuitt? Did I mention? I don't like the fact that they lost Bud Dupree to Tennessee, but I love the fact that Devin Bush is going to be back. I'm just looking at these brothers right here. The defense, number 3 against points allowed. Number 3 in yards allowed. Number 3 against the pass. They're returning. and the offense is going to be better.
Yeah.
So everybody can sit up there and talk about Cleveland all they want to, but in the end, the AFC North beats up on one another. We all get all that.
Yeah.
Cleveland had their time in the sun, but now you put everybody on alert. Everybody thinks you've arrived. They think Baker Mayfield is worthy of all those progressive commercials, which he was based off of last season, but it's a new day. Steelers winning this division.
Yeah,
winning this division.
You and I sat in this damn studio a couple of years ago when everybody was on the Cleveland hype train.
That's right.
And we was like, Paul,
That's
stop.
right.
They not in a
and we agreed
situation.
there.
We agreed.
We agreed. And we were right.
But you are out of your damn mind right
please.
now.
Okay.
And first of all, let me tell everybody this.
Sure.
The Pittsburgh Steelers got to figure out how to get T.J. Watt to play a game. He's been showing up at practice,
right.
but he's asking for a new contract.
Okay.
And you know what it is?
They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, I hope
He's
so.
a Watt. He's a Watt. He's a Watt. He's a Watt. He'll be there this Sunday. He'll be there this Sunday. He'll be there this Sunday. He'll be there this Sunday.
And listen, I'm with you. I'm
Okay.
with you. I think Big Ben will be better.
That's right.
I think Big Ben will play better
Okay.
than he did last year, especially down the stretch.
Right.
By no means am I telling you the Pittsburgh Steelers are a bad football team.
Okay.
But you know damn well the Pittsburgh Steelers are not in position to win the
I do not know that.
Yeah, you do.
Don't tell me how I know.
Yeah, you
Don't
do.
tell me what I know. I do
You
not know
emotional
that.
about it.
I do not know
You
that.
emotional about
Excuse me.
it.
You all calm, cool, and collected about the Cowboys?
Well, everybody talks about me and my emotion with the Cowboys, but this is what I was starting to show off with. We never get to your emotion when we start talking about your team.
Excuse me.
Devin Bush is back, and Bud Dupree is
very calm. I'm
like
very
gone. It's all of that. The bottom line is, bro,
Very calm.
just own the fact that as we
Excuse
stand here
me.
today,
Time
that the
out.
Cleveland Browns are the team in that division.
Time out.
Just own it.
Mike
It's fine.
Tomlin is going to
Molly
be on
wants
the
to
show. Yes, Molly does want to talk. Mike Tomlin's going to be on the show tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We'll ask him about this. But excuse me, guys. Did you forget there's an MVP? His name is Action Jackson, Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. They're actually the favorites to win.
Yeah.
How far can Baltimore go since you're both sleeping?
Can I answer that? Can I answer that?
Sure.
First things first. How about we make sure he don't come down with COVID again? It happened twice. I mean, damn. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's a different subject for another segment of this show.
the reality.
How do we know he's going to be available?
Yeah.
You know, he don't want to talk to doctors. He don't want to talk to epidemiologists. Oh, no, Lamar Jackson wants to talk to his teammates as if they're medical professionals about the vaccine. Go figure. Okay, so you got that going on, all right? By the way, not just one in J.K. Dobbins, but another running back went down with an injury. So you got all of that going on.
They're actually trying out Le'Veon Bell,
So?
Devontae Freeman, and others for Justice Hill. You know what Le'Veon Bell did for your Steelers?
Yeah, how many years ago was that? I had an afro.
Yeah.
The bottom line is that's a long, long time ago for Le'Veon Bell. I love him, but it's a long time ago.
At least you want to acknowledge something associated to the Steelers with truth.
Excuse me.
Listen, the Baltimore Ravens are not where they should be because their backfield is compromised, Molly. Like when you think about how they're philosophically built to run the football, we've been screaming, evolve the passing game, but we talk about that in playoff context. We say when Lamar Jackson gets to this point, he needs to be able to do this to win football games. The Baltimore Ravens have ran the ball down people's throat. Now you have a backfield where you've lost two of your hogs, two of the dudes that really are responsible for helping Lamar Jackson have the type of success in the run game that he has. This bothers me. When J.K. Dobbins went down, I was like, cool, because they do it by committee anyway. But then you lose another running back in Gus. They have an issue.
I have a question.
Okay.
Who'd you pick to win the AFC North last year? It wasn't the Steelers. You picked the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Who won the division?
The Steelers.
I'm just saying. I just point that out. The only reason I'm bringing that up is that people customarily count out the Steelers. They're going to wait for Ben Roethlisberger to retire the last few years, and the Steelers rise to the occasion. I'm looking, if they didn't have their defense, I would feel totally different about you. But the bottom line is that defense is going to be real.
Right.
And offensively, you add Najee Harris. Of course, I'm concerned about the offensive line, but I do have one positive. It can't be worse than it was last year.
Well, you better hope
it can't be worse. It can't be worse. All right, so I'm looking at it from that perspective, and I'm saying, excuse me, the Steelers, y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot.
Stephen
and the Steelers are going to remind y'all this year what's going to happen.
Stop acting like your team didn't get figured out and look terrible at the end of the year.
They did.
You
They
just
did.
gonna
No,
root
they
that
did.
part
They
of
did.
it out?
They did.
Like everybody focus on, they were 11.
No, you're right.
And they
You're
lost
right.
to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Listen, they were awful. They were awful. But
Okay.
hold on, Mason Rudolph was the coach quarterback that day. That don't count.
I don't
Mason
care.
Rudolph. Don't get me started with Mason Rudolph. Don't get me started with him. Don't bring up bad moments for me. That's very. I get more. Now I get emotional. Now I'm gonna get emotional about him because I don't want him on the roster. I don't like Mason Rudolph on the roster. Okay, I don't think he's a backup.
Yep.
Me personally, I think he's third string. But in the end, the Pittsburgh Steelers, when you look at them, offense, defense, special teams, they gonna show up. Again, the questions are legitimate, but I'm saying, just watch.
You own it.
Just watch.
Own it.
Just watch.
I want you to own it.
Why?
You emotional about it.
I'm not being emotional about it. I gave you facts.
We can tell everybody. This me and you talking. Like we have. You emotional about it?
Marcus.
I'm emotional about my neck.
Marcus.
I'm emotional. But damn it, he's right. He's right.
I just want
I'm emotional about my Steelers
I
too.
just want to end it by saying this. Do you know the last time the Browns won the division, Marcus Spears?
I probably was a baby.
Yeah, party like it's 1999.
fine.
Remember that song?
Fine.
1999.
Shame.
I'll leave you with
I
that.
remember when New England was bad.
All right, should we be expecting a career resurrection for Jameis Winston this season? One of the fellas says most definitely. Wait till you hear what familiar faces in new places in primetime on Sunday Night Football. Yeah, it's this week. Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace will be feeling the heat. They need Andy Dalton to perform in the national spotlight after their decision to ignore fan requests to start the rookie Justin Fields out of The Ohio State University. Meanwhile, in LA, all eyes on Matthew Stafford. Did he hold Detroit back or did Detroit hold him back? We'll see what kind of quarterback he really is now that he's crewed up in LA. Plus, is Sean McVay really boy wonder how he was touted early on, or has his magic worn off? We'll see if the bold move to send Jared Goff packing was the right move. Here's McVay on his new signal caller.
I think it's more about, his comfort, Lindsay. I think, he's done such a good job, getting acclimated to his teammates, this environment, this atmosphere. He's been such a quick study, and, there's been collaboration of what we're doing. And so really our goal now is, hey, let's get a great plan together that, our guys on offense and especially Matthew feel really good. There's ownership, there's an autonomy on what that plan is, and you're able to solve some of the problems, but able to execute based on the variety of looks that Coach Desai can activate. So I feel really good about where he's at, but we've got a long week ahead, and we'll just take it a day at a time.
Marcus, as you can see, I'm very intrigued by all these moves we've had in the NFL and how they will play out. Do you think there's more at stake for Matthew Stafford, or is it Sean McVay?
It's Sean McVay. It's not even close for me because Sean McVay has been there through all of this transition. He was there when they traded for Jalen Ramsey. He was there when they wanted to figure out the Todd Gurley situation. He was coming off a Super Bowl where he was given 3 points by Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. And I love how you open that up. He's supposed to be boy wonder, right? And now you send Jared Goff off because Jared Goff now has become the poster child of what was holding us back.
Right.
This is what was stopping us from winning the Super Bowl. And everybody seems to forget. So I hear all of the Matt Stafford is he really that guy from Detroit? The only thing we paid attention to for the Detroit Lions was Matt Stafford, right? His talent lends itself to us believing that in a better situation from a team standpoint, building standpoint. And remember, Matthew Stafford went through coaches after coaches after coaches. They could not get it right. He was in a bad franchise, and he was in a franchise where we knew they weren't going to win games, so we didn't see him on television. But NFL players know how good Matthew Stafford is. I saw him mount a 20-point comeback when I was playing against him with the Cowboys and said, he's elite. The talent is elite. That's why for Sean McVay, they've been betting. I don't want people to get it wrong, S.A. The Los Angeles Rams have been betting for the last 4 years that the particular moves that they're making are Super Bowl moves. And it is not manifested. It ain't materialized. And look, Sean McVay went up to New England and beat Bill Belichick last year. And everybody got, this is the offense. He's learning how to do these things. But he one-upped it. He said, I'm going to go get a quarterback that I feel like can go beyond the X's and O's. When I'm not on my A game, I got a guy that can overcome that. That is the thought process that he has with Matthew Stafford. We heard him talk about the trip to Cancun or Cabo, wherever the hell it was. Shanahan having a tremendous amount of success from an offensive
Tequila
standpoint.
Helps you bond.
Yeah, it does. It really does. You cannot sign Matthew Stafford with the expectation that was the issue and as the head coach not get to where you plan on getting to. He put that on himself. Matthew Stafford has some responsibility, but Sean McVay, if you the front office in Los Angeles, you said, we've done everything you've asked us to do. When Jalen Ramsey wanted out of Jacksonville, we gave away first-round picks. They have mortgaged their future.
Now execute. Yeah.
I respectfully disagree. I use the word respectfully because I get your points and I understand where you're coming from, but I genuinely disagree with you on this, and here's the reason why. First of all, let's look at Sean McVay's resume. Yeah, he was boy wonder, no doubt. Did get him to a Super Bowl. 4 years as the coach, got him to the playoffs 3 times. Who did he lose to in the playoffs? He lost to New England in the Super Bowl. He lost to Atlanta Falcons team fresh off a Super Bowl appearance, first go round. Then he lost to New England in the Super Bowl. Last year, he lost to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Nothing to sneeze at there, number one. Number two, Les Snead made those moves, gave him the personnel. So as far as I'm concerned, you're going to look at Sean McVay, you got to look at Les Snead as well, all right, in terms of the personnel that they're supposed to have available to them. Here's where I get with Matthew Stafford. I like Matthew Stafford. I respect the brother. The brother has won many, many games in the NFL, meaning with his arm come from behind victories, et cetera, et cetera. The brother's record is like 74-90-1. Now, I understand that's a team game. We're talking about the perpetually moribund Detroit Lions organization. Yeah. I got all of that, okay? The flip side to it is that your record is still your record. In 12 years as the quarterback, you've gone to the playoffs 3 times. In those 3 appearances, you're 0-3 in the postseason. Jimmy Ward of the 49ers, if I remember correctly, was the one that sat up there and called them out and was like, yo, the brother can play, probably top 10, maybe top 5, but he ain't got no playoff victories. Jared Goff took the Rams to the Super Bowl. So if you are Jared Goff and you go to Detroit and you stick up the joint, yeah, that's an indictment against Detroit. But if you're Matthew Stafford coming from Detroit to the Los Angeles Rams with McVay as your coach, where Robert Woods is one of your receivers, Cooper Kupp is another. You just picked up Deshaun Jackson. I don't give a damn how old Deshaun Jackson is. If the brother is healthy, he can take the top off of any defense in the NFL. The brother can fly, okay? And you just picked up Sony Michel, okay, because Cam Akers went down. So you got a running game. You got a passing game, all right? You got a decent enough offensive line. You damn sure got an elite defense. You got a coach that no one is accused of being oblivious to what the hell is going on and has some idea about what he's doing. If the Los Angeles Rams, and I'm talking if they struggle offensively, because if your offense is elite but your defense is struggling, we're not going to look at Matthew Stafford. But if we're looking at a Los Angeles Rams offense and they're not getting it done, I'm not trying to absolve Sean McVay.
Right.
But don't tell me that Matthew Stafford ain't going to be the one that most people are frowning upon more than Sean McVay. But that's where I'm going with.
Steven, so here's my problem with that.
Okay.
Sean McVay is the common denominator in all of these circumstances, right? Like at some point, you have to focus on the guy that's telling you. Let me remind you, Sean McVay is the one that said Matthew Stafford is going to take us over the top.
Okay.
His evaluations of it's not us. We can believe what we want to believe about Matt Stafford.
But what you supposed to say? What you supposed to say? All right, we acquired him. I don't know whether we're gonna win with the guy. Now we'll find out.
It ain't about what you're supposed to say.
Right.
You sent the first overall pick away to get him.
Ain't nobody missed Jared Goff. You know that.
But where does the pressure lie? What Sean McVay sending Jared Goff away to get Matthew Stafford? What story does that tell? Sean McVay put all of the onus on Jared Goff.
Well,
that's.
He put the onus. Come on, you know this because you do a great job doing what you do on NFL Live every day. When Sean McVay traded Jared Goff, it wasn't just that Jared Goff was somebody that wasn't producing. They talked about them not being on the same page. They talked about them not getting along, him not listening and stuff like that. So in other words, we started looking at Jared Goff, and it wasn't just his abilities as a quarterback. We started looking at his temperament, and that's what we're looking to find out from Detroit.
But still a blockbuster move.
It is.
It's
a blockbuster, but it's a blockbuster because of the greatness that is expected from Matthew Stafford, not because it was a big deal that Jared Goff left L.A.
But Stephen A., the point you just made the point.
Okay.
You shipped away what you said the problem was. You remain, and now you've told everybody.
You got what
Matt
you wanted.
Stafford is the guy because remember, even with all of those things you said from a relationship standpoint between Jared Goff and Sean McVay, Sean McVay still betted that Matthew Stafford was the fixer of those problems.
And what I'm saying to you, Marcus, is I get it. And I get where you're coming from. And if Matthew Stafford was in his 3rd or 4th year in the league, you got me. But a 12-year veteran that has been around, that is universally recognized as one of the top quarterbacks in the game, you better show up.
All right, let me ask you this quickly. Arguably the best division in football probably is. We're talking Cardinals, Rams, Niners, Seahawks. A lot of people expect 3 of those teams to be in the playoffs. Yeah. Which team do you trust the most of all of them?
I trust the Rams because I think Matthew Stafford is that dude.
Okay.
And listen, the San Francisco 49ers gives me pause when I talk about winning this division.
Yeah.
Because I can't root out the fact that they were riddled with injury last year. They lost Kittle, who is arguably the best tight end between him and Kelsey, whoever you choose. Defensively, you lose your best defensive player in Bosa. So it's not like the San Francisco 49ers are going to go quietly into the night. And the one thing about them is they've been on this path. Like, they understand who they are. We know that the Rams got to figure out, Sean McVay and Matt Stafford got to figure out what things work when games are on the line. But Stephen A., I'm telling you, I got the Rams to win this division because Matthew Stafford is the best QB in this division with the best team and support.
I have the Rams as well, but because of the defense,
Yeah.
not Stafford.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
the
Russell
defense-
Wilson, the best quarterback.
It's the defense to me, led by Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. That's the reason that I'm looking at the Rams and saying,
and then you'd go Niners.
But to also speak to why the Rams are in your pick is because you think Sean McVay is that dude. Stephen A.
I believe in him. I got confidence in him.
The pressure is on McVay, bro.
To me, it's Stafford.
He the common denominator.
Stafford needs a playoff win, that's for sure.
right.
I know quarterback has better numbers, passing yards, passing TDs without a playoff win. And I know a lot of that's on Detroit. A lot of it's on Detroit. But, all right.
Not one.
We'll leave it there.
They played the Cowboys. They lost to the Cowboys.
You gotta love a Stevens A-list. I love it more when Marcus Spears is gonna rip it to shreds today. That music and that font, that's everything right now. It's like taking me back to my childhood.
Props to the producers, Tanucci, Goldfarb, and the crew, Antoine Lewis, everybody. Great work. I love that. Let me say what I said at the top of this show. Times have changed. Molly and I are still here. Max is on with Keyshawn and Jay Will, wishing him nothing but the best. On an everyday basis, we're going to have different analysts sitting in this chair. Michael Irvin's on Wednesday. You're going to see my man SWAGU every week. You're going to see Tim Tebow on Fridays. You're going to see the Orlovskis and Jeff Saturdays, Mina Kimes, Kimberly Martin, Ryan Clark, Damian Woody, Dominique Foxworth, Paul Feinbaum, the whole crew. And in the world of sports and entertainment, a lot of people have been talking for years about wanting to sit across from a brother to debate sports. I'm not hiding. The chair is open. And trust you me, people in Hollywood, people in the world of sports, athletes, players, coaches, the whole bit. You can come get some. And by the way, it ain't just in that chair literally. It's also virtually via satellite as well. I'll come to you. It don't matter.
Your house.
I just want to let everybody know that's the new day here.
I'm here for it.
That's how we going to do it.
I hope we get somebody with real bars. All right, Tebow time. Obviously, that's going to be must-see TV on Friday always, but we have plenty left to unload on today. Why is the NFL concerned about the packed college stadiums over the weekends? We'll get into that. Plus, we have a Stevens A-list on deck. His top 5 Super Bowl contenders. Stephen A., it better be good. All right, you better bring your A game.
I got this.
All right, guys, obviously parity runs rampant in the NFL, and it's truly a whole new year in the NFL. And here's why. This is pretty unbelievable. Listen to this. Nearly half the league has a different starting quarterback this year than they did week 1 of last season. There's a bunch of veterans expected to make their starting debut with new teams, including Jameis Winston and the Saints. He played in 4 games last year, but he did not start. But the real question for me is, can he keep the strong arm but lose the mistake? Sean Payton seems to think so. Marcus, I'll start with you. Will Jameis resurrect his career?
Yes, I have no doubt about it, and it's because of maturation. Listen, I've been one of those guys, after we talked about Jameis Winston in Tampa, to not only identify the talent, but talk about his issue. And obviously it's turning the football over. And I think when he's had a year to sit away from football and watch Drew Brees and watch Sean Payton, not only watching Drew Brees play, but watching a week of preparation, understanding where to go and where not to go. And we saw some of that stuff come up in the preseason, especially in the last game against Jacksonville. I'm not talking about competition. There was a 3rd and 16 when Jameis Winston wanted to turn into old Jameis Winston. And the influence and impact that Sean Payton and Drew Brees had on him made him check the football down and decide we're going to punt, we'll let her play another possession. That's how Jameis Winston fixed himself. I said this, Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston were never in the same stratosphere as quarterbacks. Like, what are we talking about? This guy, it's harder. What he did was harder in Tampa to do than what most of these quarterbacks are doing on the great side. Jameis Winston threw for 5,100 yards. He threw 30 touchdowns. He was leading the league in explosive passes downfield. And I understand Bruce Arians' offense and no risk it, no biscuit. People say that ad nauseum. Jameis Winston had to learn how to be a quarterback, but he had to learn how to be a quarterback while not being in the fire. And that's what his maturity, his team, his agent, whoever got together and decided, you know what? You're going to go to New Orleans, you're going to sit down for a year or two, and you're going to watch a professional that's done it at the highest level than most people, and you're going to become a better quarterback. And I've already seen that pay dividends for Jameis Winston. Yes, he's going to resurrect his career, and Sean Payton going to see to it that he does.
Okay. Before I make my point, I need clarification. Resurrect his career.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Become a top 10 level starter in the NFL.
Top 10?
Yep.
Yep. Stop.
Okay.
Stop it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, let's talk.
That's ridiculous.
Go ahead and say what you're going to say, and we going to talk.
Jameis Winston, I'm a fan. I like the kid. And I'm proud of him because he did go and he did sit down behind Drew Brees. And that was a big deal considering he was a 5-year starter in Tampa Bay. I get all of that, okay? And I'm not giving up on him because, again, the 33 interceptions, giving new meaning for 30 for 30. He did do that, but it doesn't negate the fact that he did throw 30 touchdowns and he did pass for 5,000 yards. We can't sniff at that. I understand that, okay? In New Orleans, sit behind Drew Brees. You going to cut down on those mistakes? Maybe. I don't imagine that he'll throw another 30 interceptions. He did have one season where he threw 28 interceptions. He had another season when he threw 22 interceptions. He's thrown 121 interceptions over the course of his career. He is mistake prone, and because he's a guy, thank God he doesn't play for Bruce Arians. Because for Bruce Arians, I mean, no risk at all. I mean, that's the worst coach he could have played for because Jameis Winston has that in his head. That was from his days at Florida State. Okay, that's who he is. He don't mind taking chances. He goes for it. He truly believes in himself, and I got to give him props for that, even though it didn't always work for him. In New Orleans, you've been running this system led by Drew Brees for over a decade.
Yep.
And now your first year going, okay, you don't have Michael Thomas to start off with. We know the friction and all that stuff. Plus, he ain't 100% healthy, which I don't totally absolve Michael Thomas. Murray, I get all of that. Marquez, Callaway, Traquan Smith, they can ball. Yeah. But I'm like, Michael Thomas ain't there.
That's
huge. And on Jameis' best day, he never had the accuracy of Drew Brees. So when you talk to me about top 10, I think you out your mind. Okay. I'm not saying that he a scrub. I'm not trying to disrespect Tony Shane. I'm rooting for him. But top 10?
I got a question for you.
Nah.
I got a question.
Nah, I don't see that.
If Jameis Winston only throws 10 to 12 interceptions, what you think his number's going to look like?
If he only throws 10 to 12 interceptions, I'll tell you he passed for about 4,000 yards.
And you don't think he'll be in the top 10 conversation?
Right, but I don't think that's going to happen. I see Jameis
How
Winston.
fixable are the turnovers as a football player? Like, honestly, because he's got the second most turnovers ever in a player under the 26.
I see Jameis Winston throwing a minimum of 16 to 18
and Peyton Manning was trending in the direction as well. But remember, when you have an opportunity, and this is what I said in the first, when I was talking about Jameis Winston, he's had an opportunity to learn football. And it manifested. I'm not talking about something that Jameis Winston has been hopeful about. The things that he said he learned has shown up in his play in the preseason.
Okay.
And I'm basing it off of the fact that he's learned how to play the position. It wasn't about Jameis Winston's talent
Yeah.
and what he could do as a quarterback. Arm strength, ball placement,
Yeah, that's
deep
all
ball.
there.
We all know that. Jameis Winston's issue was he thought he needed to do it every play. And what he showed me in the preseason is, you know what, I can take a check down. I can throw the ball out of bounds.
See, here's where I got to chime in with a question because see, I can't. He got me here. I got to admit, he got me here.
Okay.
Because I can't get on Marcus about this because I don't know his position. Because I never asked him what I'm about to ask him.
Uh-huh.
How much stock do you put in preseason?
I put a tremendous amount of stock in the thought process in preseason. And let me explain. When I see rookies play, all right, let's take Mac Jones, for instance. What we talked about with Mac Jones, do we see it? Is it something that we see? I'm not talking about the defenders he playing. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about, is he operating this offense at a high level? We answered that question, yes, right? When we looked at Zach Wilson for the Jets, the things we talked about in the draft, arm strength, live arm, plays under control, we saw all of those things in the preseason. Let's get to Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston was in New Orleans learning how to play the position. It's the conversation we were having when Drew Brees was the starting quarterback. Jameis Winston is the backup. He didn't play. Sean Payton gave Taysom Hill an opportunity to go play. Figured out Taysom Hill ain't that guy. So I'm not saying that might not be the case for Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston has showed in the preseason exactly what he said his maturation process
See if he can
was
take care of
while
the
he
football.
was
That's all it
watching.
is.
My last comment. I got to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
Because I think that once turnover prone, always turnover prone.
Yeah, I don't-
Now, and for me, I don't put a lot of stock in the preseason at all. How many times they sit here on this show, I'll be like, I don't give a damn what y'all telling me about in the preseason. I can care less.
I get it.
I want to see it when it starts.
Okay.
When they got 60 minutes to go up
Marcus,
against you instead of two.
I'm going to be with you. I'm going to walk by faith with you. I'm not going to be Stephen A. I'm going to walk by
instead
faith.
of two
We'll see what
series.
happens.
The man done played
Okay.
big-time football
No, I
before.
said that.
The three best words on First Take, a Stevens
You don't need a damn preseason. You know he
A-list.
can play.
I know, no. There's no list.
I was trying to promote your list,
Sorry.
but it's okay.
I'm sorry, Molly.
Is it going to be good? That's what everyone wants to know.
It better be.
The Chiefs trying to regroup. They are down 21-6 at halftime. To the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. There's nothing the Chiefs can do. There will be no repeat. Bucs win the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, you are the man. You are the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
The defending Super Bowl champs are 2 days away from kicking off the season, so it's time for Stephen A. to tell us his top 5 Super Bowl threats for the season.
Top 5 Super Bowl threats. SWAGU. Pay attention. Pay attention. You know how I point to my list? You know what I don't say with this list, SWAGU? You know what I don't say? I don't say, I'm glad you asked. I don't do that.
I like that tagline.
I don't do that. That's not how I roll with my A-list. We talk about my top 5 Super Bowl contenders. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. Number 5 on the list. Give it to me right now. Bam! The Patriots. Why? Because they're in the AFC. I told you I got them winning the AFC East. I know what Patrick Mahomes does, even though Tennessee, Indy, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore are nothing to sneeze at. Remember, Patrick Mahomes outside of last year's Super Bowl. Who gave him the most difficult time usually? It was Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Pay attention to that right now. Path of least resistance, Marcus Spears. They win the AFC East. The road to prosperity might not be that steep because the AFC ain't the NFC. Let's go to number 4 on the list. Give it to me. The Rams. Bam! Why? Because of what we just talked about a little while ago. Y'all were listening, weren't y'all? Ain't Matthew Stafford the quarterback? Ain't Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp? And those boys ain't Sean Jackson there? Am I right about that? That defense. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. They're elite. They're big time. They're in the NFC West. They're going to be tried and tested. Sean McVay can coach. He's talking about Sean McVay pressure. I'm talking Matthew Stafford. What we're not talking about is that damn defense because we ain't worried about the Rams defense. We know how real and legit they truly, truly are. And that Super Bowl that they lost a few years back, remember, they only scored 3 points, only gave up 13. The defense is legit. Make no mistake about it. They ain't top 3, though. Give me number 3, please, right here, please. Give it to me. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Why? Because He's a bad man. That's why, number one. Number two, Devontae Adams, last time I checked, one of the elite receivers in the game today. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he's there as well. You got, you got what is it, Randy Cobb, he's back. I'm sorry. Cobb, he's back with those boys. That's a giving. Aaron Jones is still your running back, so your offense is legit. Defense can be shaky at times, but they 13-3 back-to-back NFC Championship game appearances. How I'm going to leave them out of the top three. Let's not be ridiculous here. They ain't number two, though. We know who's number two. Give it to me. This one right here, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Why? Because of Patrick Mahomes. Because of Travis Kelce, the best tight end in football, even though George Kittle might give him a run for his money. Of course, Tyreek Hill and the crew, McCole Hardman. I'm a fan of that, brother. The offense is going to be lethal. It's going to be legit. And Patrick Mahomes is going to be on his revenge tour. He's going to smoke everybody, maybe until he runs in to Tom Brady and the boys. And at the end of the day, the Chiefs are the team to beat, at least in the AFC. We can't deny that. And in the AFC West, the Chargers ain't ready, the Raiders ain't ready, the Denver Broncos damn sure ain't ready. So we got to look at it from that perspective. They ain't number one now. We know who number one is. It's the reigning, defending Super Bowl champion, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, returning all 22 starters. All of them. So you've got veteran leadership, you've got seasoned professionals, you got champions who are playing together, and guess what nobody has brought up? We brought up Antonio Brown, but we haven't really brought him up. We forgot that Antonio Brown, when the drama ain't going on off the field, the brother is universally recognized as one of the top two receivers in the game of football. And we consistently, Marcus, bring up, okay? You bring up Chris Godwin. We bring up Mike Evans. Tell me one time in Antonio Brown's career when he's healthy and on the field that anyone has ever said that they're better than him. And those brothers can play.
That's true.
And so you got them with Antonio Brown, Gronk coming back. Excuse me, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with that defense as well, and how we saw them maul Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They're the number one team right now. This is my top 5 Super Bowl contenders. The floor is yours.
You're so funny. You're so funny. We stood over there for 5 minutes and you talked about the Steelers like they was gonna do a damn thing.
That was a conversation about the AFC North. Not about the Super Bowl. That's the AFC North.
Okay.
That's the AFC North. That was the Super Bowl.
So you betting on Mac Jones and not Josh Allen?
I'm betting on the Patriots defense and Bill Belichick.
Okay, well, I'm not. And that's why the list is wrong. Okay. The list should have the Buffalo Bills included right here.
Okay.
The best quarterback in their division. Okay. I like the Rams pick. I like the Packers pick, except for I don't know how this offseason is going to affect them. We all assuming that Aaron Rodgers is walking into the building and the synergy is right. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is going to play bad. He's not going to play bad.
No. He's going to play
phenomenal.
Great. Don't be blasphemous. Don't be blasphemous. He's going to be great.
The problem is, Stephen A., we may be working on a 1-year sample size where it could fall apart if success doesn't happen like they planning on it happening. Remember Gutekunst and Aaron Rodgers not being, like, I know they saying they talking and they can't stand each other.
That, man.
Okay, let's go. And remember how you lost your mind when they didn't go for it on 4th down.
That's right.
Let's not let that happen again.
It's still going to be top 3 in the regular season going to the postseason.
Okay, here's a legitimate argument.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Watch
him out.
They signed Joe Tooney. All right. They signed Orlando Brown.
Yes.
For protection for Patrick Mahomes.
That's true.
The issue last year with these guys where there was no protection.
I agree.
Stephen A., in a game, in a Super Bowl. Now, I've arrived at this place. In a Super Bowl, all things equal, I'm taking 15. Now, I understand Tom Brady is the QB, and I know what this offense looks like, but we seem to forget that Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL.
Okay.
And when protected, he's almost impossible to beat. That's what his career says.
Stay right there. Stay with me. I got you.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand. Good argument. Listen to me.
Okay.
Listen to me. Patrick Mahomes got an offensive line. Who was Tom Brady abusing in the Super Bowl?
The second.
Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say to you is this. All you're telling me is that the Chiefs' offense is going to be better. I'm telling you, there's nothing that says that the Buccaneers' offense is going to be better.
I love when I get coached in school.
Yes, you go ahead. You try it. You try it. I just gave it to you.
Because a part of their strength
right?
It's the pressure they put on you offensively.
I understand that.
Okay,
So, and you're trying to say that Tom Brady can't handle that pressure? Are you trying to say that?
I'm saying that the Chiefs' defense is better when they have points on the board. Because here's Tom Brady's issue.
Okay.
And I want everybody to remember this.
Okay.
By no means, listen, let's not have this conversation.
Okay. No, I'm not-
Like,
I'm
I
not
don't think the Bucs are Super Bowl contenders
I
or
understand.
win the Super Bowl.
I'm not accusing you of that.
Chris Jones, who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs,
Okay.
did not have an opportunity at all to rush Tom Brady last year.
I understand.
Because there was no points on the board.
I understand.
That defense with Spagnuolo drives off pressure.
Spagnuolo, really? We gonna bring him up now? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you.
Wait. Can I say something?
Super
Because
Bowl.
I got an issue with this list. Because I took some notes here. You have. We're looking at the Pats at 5, and you don't have the Bills, Ravens, Browns, Titans,
Molly,
Seattle ahead of the New England
tell me.
Patriots. I just named like 6 teams.
No. Shame on you for asking me that question because you're not paying attention to your partner in crime here, Molly. Remember, he's the
I
new Jack.
always
He's the new Jack.
I ain't
Hey,
new
I'm the dude. I'm the dude
I'm
here.
the
I'm the dude
ultimate
here with
listener on
him.
this
ESP and
show.
you, Molly. Listen to this. I pay attention to competition. I'm saying they're going to beat one another up. When I think about the AFC North, when I think about the NFC West, you got to pick one. You can't pick 2 or 3 out of the same thing. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm not trying to sit up there and tell you.
AFCs, they're gonna beat each other up, too.
I'm not trying to say the Patriots are better than the San Francisco 49ers or whatever. I'm saying in the AFC, the road to prosperity, there's one team that's probably standing in your way. You're going to win the game. You're going to get a home court advantage, okay? And you probably, in all likelihood, got to worry about one team if you're Bill Belichick. That's all I'm saying.
Miami.
That's why I got my thing. But let's get back to this right here for the Buccaneers real quickly. There will be no dip offensively. If anything, they got an additional year under their belt. Antonio Brown signs for 1 year. All right, at his minimum deal.
O.J.
Evans
Howard
coming back. O.J. Howard's back. Okay, you got Gronk. You got Evans and Godwin. Leonard Fournette. I mean, you got a crew. Okay, and the defense came alive in the second half of the season.
Absolutely.
So you're forgetting all of that when I think about this.
I'm not forgetting it. What I remember is that when this team won a Super Bowl, they beat the #1 defense in the league. Okay.
All right.
I'm cool with what you have here.
That's right.
Okay.
But I'm taking 15.
All right, I'm just
protect.
All right, but you just act like you cool with what I got
Shut up,
because you
shut
know
up.
it's right.
But
you know it's
five-
right.
That five. You've been listening. You've been listening to
Five
long
was a
people tell you.
reach.
I don't understand
Reaching.
where you pull
All right,
that
Bill,
from.
come
Gotta
here,
take a
guys,
risk.
on
Don't want to be
first take.
predictable with your list.
Which team
Take a
has
step out.
the
Take
best
a
wide
chance.
receiver group in the league? Dallas. The best receiving core, is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so second best, would you say it's the Cowboys?
No, Tennessee Titans. And I don't even know why we're having this damn conversation. A healthy Julio Jones may be the best wide receiver in the NFL, right? And I know health is in that conversation, but when we see Julio play and he's healthy, Julio is unguardable. And not to mention that A.J. Brown is another big physical receiver who's ascending into the conversation of being one of those guys that can dominate a game. They felt comfortable enough to get rid of Corey Davis and let him walk because of A.J. Brown's success. It's not coincidence that Ryan Tannehill has had the tremendous amount of success he's had throwing the football either. I don't know what the effect of Jonnu Smith being gone will have and impact this offense. I don't know how this offense will be impacted with not having Arthur Smith as a head coach. But when we start talking about receivers, and I know we get enamored, like Adams in Green Bay, we got in Arizona, D-Hop. We got D-Hop in Arizona. We got receivers all across the OBJ and Jarvis Landry in Cleveland. We got Tyreek Hill in Kansas City. None of them are Julio Jones when he's healthy. And that's not to slight those guys. They great players. The Stephon Diggs of the world. All of those guys are phenomenal. But a healthy Julio Jones is alone as far as being a wide receiver and what level he's on. Now, here's my thing. I add in what the team is as well. I want you to have Julio Jones and A.J. Brown and that big man child in the backfield. Because you know what I'm going to get? Opportunities.
Okay.
And with them two dudes, opportunities usually end up in touchdowns and a lot of scoring.
Let me say this to you. I don't have any problem with your pick.
I know you don't because it's the right pick.
Receivers, right?
Yeah.
You just missed one thing. Who throwing on the damn football?
Ryan Tannehill?
That was Brian Tannehill.
Yeah.
He ain't Aaron Rodgers.
No, he's not. He's not at all.
When I think about Aaron Rodgers throwing the football to you, just like you said, you take everything into account.
Yeah.
Right? The people that surrounded him. So when I think about Devontae Adams, what is he, chopped liver?
No, he's great wide receiver.
Devontae Adams is something special.
All right, now,
so hold on.
Who next?
No.
Who next?
No. They ain't A.J. Brown. But when I think about Allen Lazard, when I think about Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and I think about the addition of Randall Cobb, even though Randall Cobb is just getting back, all I'm saying to you is this. If I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers throwing you the football and who he's throwing it to, and it starts with Devontae Adams, I like my chances with that better than Ryan Tannehill throwing it to Julio Jones.
You make me sick.
And A.J. Brown.
First of all,
I like that much.
First of all, you're so wrong about what you're saying. It's ridiculous.
Receiving core, not quarterback.
That's the damn question. The question is the second best receiving core.
And I said,
you spent no timeout. You just spent 25 seconds talking about how good Aaron Rodgers is.
That's right.
I just
Stephen
told
A's
you
world is
that
another
A.J.
show.
Brown and Julio Jones
Everything's my
are
world.
two.
No, Kobe, that is not the business. We're not in Stephen A's world.
Everything's my
This is
world.
first take.
Everything's my world.
You had me.
my world.
You had me.
my world too.
You had me on the fact that you in everything in the totality.
I can't.
But then you went on 20 more
imagine
seconds
living
about
with
Aaron
this man?
Rodgers. That ain't what we're talking about.
Listen. Julio Jones is big time. But I have to take into account what we've seen recently.
Health-wise.
Not health-wise and all that stuff. We haven't had that issue with Devontae Adams.
Okay.
A.J. Brown's a young stud, but I think about Devontae Adams.
Keep talking so you can try to convince
Again, I think about Scantling with Lazard.
He's like, I think about Devontae Adams, and he's like, and then I think about Devontae Adams, and then I think about Devontae
What I'm saying is, we're not talking about man on man. All right, this guy's better than this guy, that guy. As a receiving core, I like what Green Bay had.
You can like it, but you can still be lying.
You have a lying face.
I like it.
I like it.
But it's not the
your
truth.
face says liar all over. That's a lying face. I know him. All right. Okay.
This will make me
Let me
sick every
save you
time
from yourself. I got a real one. Let me save you from yourself so it can really be Stephen A's world again, okay? Don't make me throw up. All right, so over the weekend, Marcus's LSU Tigers, the national champs, just 2 years ago, lost to UCLA, the Bruins. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Stephen A?
Yes.
Do you have anything to say about that game? Were you watching?
Well, first of all, I couldn't watch much of it. I know that you had Ed Orgeron getting off the team bus talking smack to fans, and then you go and lose to Chip Kelly and UCLA. You know, once upon a time, I remember one of the greatest motivational speeches I saw was Ryan Clark giving a motivational speech to Marcus Spears on Get Up in the Morning, and Marcus Spears got and prayed and all of this other stuff. And they won their national championship. And ever since then, we can't find them. 5-5 last year. All right, this year, getting beat up. They ain't, not that it's fair, but people are actually talking about, is that Orgeron the right guy for the job? The bottom line is this. Joe Burrow and Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for LSU, did great things. They both gone, and we ain't heard from LSU since. It's an APB out on them. We can't find them. They're irrelevant. Nobody's thinking about LSU right now. It's Alabama and Georgia, but it ain't LSU. It's over. It's over.
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing.
I wish we could cycle every one of these damn producers out here that wanted to give you a dub because they knew you was gonna get blasted, so they brought up LSU and UCLA. You're right, though. All
right.
I'm so sad about it. It's bad. It was bad.
Who's their quarterback?
Max Johnson, who will be fine.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He'll be a solid quarterback.
All right.
I don't know what
Worst take of the day.
Yes.
Worst take of the day. I couldn't think of one.
You know what?
Because you can't.
No.
I'm dead serious.
I could think of one.
What?
Him talking about the Cleveland Browns going to win the AFC. No, that was a bad one right there.
Yeah, that was a
bad one right
shaky.
there.
A little. It's
That's a bad one right there.
A little shaky.
That team lost by, I think, 5 points to the Chiefs in the
So
playoffs.
they're going to lose by more this time around. That's all.
Y'all had to choose one of my takes for the worst.
No, you have to
can't
go.
have-
No, you get one
You get to choose one of
too.
mine.
You got to think of one of his bad takes. He said lots of bad takes today. Come on, you think of one, right?
Whatever.
Well, I'm not going to even start with this dribble about the Green Bay Packers wide receiver. I'm gonna leave that
Oh,
one
that's the
alone.
worst.
Where
That
I'm
was
gonna
it.
go-
How could I forget? Fresh up my mind.
Yeah, it just happened like
Okay.
15 seconds ago. But that New England Patriots.
Well, why?
Oh,
you
that
gonna
was
regret
bad.
it. You gonna regret it.
I'm not.
regret it?
Listen,
No,
I'm not saying that you don't have points. But why would you put them ahead of the Buffalo Bills when the Buffalo Bills are returning all of
Okay.
their guys?
Because I don't
Hold
think
up.
New England had a season.
Hold up, because I've got something more sad. We talked about LSU. My UConn